Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see, and tell me more about yourself. I'd love to know what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time to hit that play button and to hang out with me and talk cross stitch. So thank you. I feel crooked here. I went to do my filming and the camera looked a little bit different. And so after a bunch of finagling, we're just going to keep it this way. So we're just going to jump right in. I have so much to talk about and I am so excited. Oh, there's just so much going on in the cross stitch world and I know what I'm going to start for the new year and oh, just so much fun. So let's do it. Okay, so what I have started to do every week is I spin a wheel and I pick a state and I put it on my Facebook page on Mondays and I say, who are the floss tubers that you know of in that state? And then they give me a list. And then when we talk about it here, many of you know a lot more. And so we add it. And then I have a list of floss tubers by state. I think this is either the 4th or 5th state. I can't remember now. I don't have the master list here with me. But for those of you who did add extra, I will add them to the list of the previous videos, but YouTube was doing something funny. When I tried to do that, it wouldn't let me do like a live link. So I've got an idea of what I might try to do differently. So I will go back to the other videos, make sure I have everybody that's been suggested and listed for the different states, Delaware, Texas, Indiana, Arizona. Yep, so this is the 5th state. And of course, if you start a floss tube and you want to be added, just let me know. So this week's state was Oregon, and I had a bunch of suggestions from Oregon stitchers. So let me just read some of them out to you. Bendy Stitchy, Zook Stitch, Daniel B. Crafting Corner, Generous Stitcher, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, Savory Sewing, Stitch Roadies, Stitchin' in Oregon, Stitchy Witch 42, and World on a String. Those are the ones that were suggested in the Facebook page. I'm sure there's more. Feel free in the description, in the comments to list any I may have missed, including yourself if you are a floss tuber. And when I figure out what to do, I will add them to the description box. All of these will be in the description box when I put out the video and do all of that information. So Oregon floss tubers. It is so much fun to kind of see where people are by state. And, you know, if you live in that state, it's fun to find floss tubers that maybe that are around you or live in the state that you live in as well. And eventually we will move on from the United States, but I will do the United States first. And I'm keeping a master list, and then hopefully maybe I'll put that list on my Facebook page or something in the files if I can figure out how to do that. So that is my floss tubers by state and a whole bunch of shout outs for today. So some Oregon floss tubers for you to check out if you've not watched them before. All right, that is all of the pre-stuff. I'll talk about my stitches here, my finished stitches as we go along, but I want to start showing you some of my stitching because there is a lot of it this week. And the plans and the stuff, and oh, it's so much fun. Alrighty, so this month, you know, is October, and it's my birthday month. Stay tuned for plans. There might be a birthday Zoom coming up if you'd like to join me, and I know it won't work for everybody's schedule, but it will be there. So the last several years, I picked a theme, and I just carry it on from year to year. And I stitch these things all year round, but it's been fun. So if you've started one a previous October, feel free to bring it out, show us, see what's going on with it, or feel free to start something new. You can do multiples. I do multiples, but it's my birthday month and I love pumpkins. So the theme is pumpkin and it's hashtag pumpkin birthday Sal. Any type of pumpkins, you can do pumpkins, you can do pumpkin colored floss, fabric, pumpkin adjacent, you name it. So last year, I'm almost sure this was, I don't know if I actually started it on my birthday. I don't remember actually. I don't necessarily think so. But this was kind of the bigger piece that I picked last year for my birthday. And it's Autumn Still Life from Owl Forest Embroidery. And those are the owl forest threads. I don't have them. I'm using DMC. Now I did have to change, one of the DMCs was much too bright. And then periodically I'm going to throw in here and there just variegated floss colors that I have accumulated as I do so. I'm basically, when it comes to buying variegated floss, I'm like, ooh, that looks pretty, let's buy that. And then I'll figure out where to put it in my patterns. So that's where I am. I had a lot of fun on this week. This actually is my piece for the magazine monthly cross stitch challenge. This week's challenge is Oh My Gourd. It started on the 13th and it finishes on the 20th. And the challenge is to get 500 stitches on a specific piece that has a gourd or a pumpkin, which is a gourd. And I'm not there yet. I didn't get to 500, but it's only the 18th, so I have time yet. This is done on an 18 count Ocean Air from Fox and Rabbit. It's an Aida. And I pretty much concentrated on this way. So I did a little bit more of the border. I did the little piece here. I did the entire bird. I debated on variegated for the bird, but I ended up not. I did do a variegated, I don't remember what. For this piece right here, I think I also did a little bit extra on this border. So it doesn't necessarily look like I got a lot done, but I know I got at least 300 stitches in. That I think that's a pair. That pair certainly has quite a bit to it, and then the bird as well. But I've really enjoyed it, and I'm having fun picking and choosing where I want to throw in a little bit of splash of variegated. There's a big pumpkin here, and there's two. There's a green pumpkin and an orange pumpkin. So I definitely want to, at least for the orange pumpkin, do a variegated. And then there's another pumpkin somewhere else. There's a leaf up here that I think I'm going to, so here and there. But I do have a little bit more to do to try to get the challenge done, and I'm really enjoying this piece, so I'm glad I pulled it out again. It sat quite a bit this year, and I think part of it was I did have to change the color that was for this piece, and then the sunflower and so on and so forth. It just didn't match all the others, the DMC suggestion, and so then I was kind of overwhelmed by trying to figure out colors in some ways, and I think I just put it aside. So I'm really glad that I grabbed it this time around this month, and hopefully now I will keep it out. You know, I don't necessarily only stitch seasonally, so that's not an issue necessarily, but I feel I have a better path and plan for that one, so I could see more work on that. Then I pulled out, well, none of these are in particular order. It's just mixed and matched, to be honest with you. Now we have Alice in Wonderland Tree from Tiny Modernist. I stitched Wizard of Oz, and I'm using the same fabric because I'd really like to have a two-piece collection in my scrapbook. One side Wizard of Oz, one side Alice in Wonderland. And I had enough of this fabric. This is 18 count Opal Blue Ice from To Die For Fabrics. And there is a stitch along on this. It's hashtag TinyAliceSal. I will try to put all the hashtags down below in the description box next to the piece that I stitched that it goes with. There's at least 2 pumpkin birthday Sal pieces. Nope, that one is also. So there's like 3 of those, and some of them are new, some of them will be carried over. I went back and basically I'm looking at things that have pumpkins and I'm putting them in this month. I'm trying to stitch on everything I have that has a pumpkin this month. We'll see if I get them all. But back to Alice. I have completed all of the kind of framework of that part of the tree, and I finished. I'm doing all of the back stitch at the end. So there's quite a bit, more than in Wizard, but I'll get to it when I get to it. Probably at the end though, because I think I'd like to just, that's what I did with Wizard and I enjoyed it that way. We have some flowers here. Those all need some back stitch on them. I did, well, the frame was quite a bit. I started, where is it now? This little piece here. It's kind of like a flower, kind of a standing flower, like a lollipop flower of some sort. I was having trouble with that because I make a copy of the of the pattern itself. And Tiny Modernists are in nice color. But the back stitch over it, because there's quite a bit of back stitch in that little piece, and I was having trouble seeing it. So then I just pulled out the original pattern. And so I was a little bit back and forth with that. But once I get this piece done, this entire row will be done. There's back stitch for the clack and the legs here, and some other places. Maybe, yeah, that's it. So once that's done, I'll probably do some of the frame. Not all of it. I'll do a little bit of the frame, but then I'll start going in the pieces here with that too. These are really fun to do. You have almost like little finishes, and Tiny Modernist, I find, is just a really fun designer to stitch with. Her patterns are, you know, they're bright and they're cheerful looking, and I really enjoy them, I have to say. I'm sure there'll be more in the future. Okay, next. This one, it's a more recent start. This one I started in February for the hashtag Year of the Dragon sale. And this is Celtic Dragon by 2x2 Stitch Art. And if you're new, I'm kind of using Sigale, Zayden's Dragon from Fourth Wing, as my inspiration for this piece. Yes, there will eventually be some more dragon pieces. I have a plan. It'll probably be a 5-year at least plan, but you know, at least I have a plan. You know, I've been going back and forth. Right now I'm stitching the actual dragon part with She's So Blue from Roxy Floss. I'm definitely not going to do that outer border, I've decided. And I've waffled back and forth on this kind of crescent moon look. I'm currently in the yes to stitching it realm. The last time I probably showed this, I was in nope, I'm just doing the dragon kind of mindset. But that does look really cool. And without the border, it'll just be this really kind of cool circular sort of piece. I'd probably still do something in a square with it, but I'm just waffling on it. I go back and forth. But I do think that would be kind of a cool element. It's just a lot of stitches. I'll be lucky if I get the dragon portion done in the year of the dragon. I mean, it's not like the stitch along hashtag has to end or anything, but you know, it'll be a while from there. This is 18 count Phoenix from Bestitchme. And like I said, so this is She's So Blue, and it's from Roxy Floss. And I think if I originally bought enough floss, I hope, that I was going to do the outer border. I was just going to do in a DMC, but the kind of the crescent moon I was going to do in Planetarium. So it's a deeper blue. So you'd have the darker blue, kind of like a midnight skyish sort of blue surrounding the actual lighter blue. But the dragon itself, the body part is done. This is kind of the swirls around the tail. And I think I did all of this time around, which I know it doesn't look like much, but that was something like 400 stitches. I was able to put this one on Pattern Keeper, which has really helped because this is, I think it's the dragon's in 4 pages, and I was having a time of it, really worrying about where the crossovers were, because I can't remember if this one, I don't think there is, let me see, I don't think there's any grayed out spaces on this one. So you really have to be very careful when you go over the edges of the pages. And it did go pretty easily into Pattern Keeper, so I was pleased with that, and it's definitely helped with my ability to work on it. Now that one that you just saw, plus this one here, both fall under and I can't remember if I did either of them on Monday. I have a hashtag for Monochromatic Monday. So if you'd like to stitch on, I'm looking at my book. Oh, no, I have a third monochromatic piece, and that's the one that I stitched on hashtag Monochromatic Monday. But if you'd like to stitch a monochromatic piece on Mondays, that's our hashtag. And I have several because I find Something about monochromatic, very soothing and meditative, even more than just regular, multicolored cross stitch pieces, which I adore. But there's something about these that just pick a strand stitch, it's kind of flows in a different way, and I really enjoy it. This is Spring Awakens from Summer House Stitchworks. And I am stitching this with DMC Floche, so you're going to see that. And I'm going to stitch all 4 seasons. Oops, I have a little thread. With the same color Floche, but change out the fabrics. And that's where I am. And this is number 319 for the Floche. This is 18 count Hush Pink, so it's a Dovestitch. It's a printed piece. And I wanted these seasons, I think I want them a bit more pastel-y, a bit softer than the Jardin Privé fabric colors I used. And when done, they'll be, I think I might be able to do 2 and 2, so have it be a 2-piece collection with just 2 pages in the scrapbook, but have 4 stitched pieces. I think that'd be fun. So that's what that one looks like. And I did get a good amount of stuff done. This is as low as it's going to go, and that's as far as it's going to go. So you can see they're not huge, and it's just fun to pull out. I did start some of the letters. I did start some over here. The border's not hard, but I just wanted to kind of do something different. This element is repeated here. So I think last time I did the base of it, and then I did all of these individual pieces, which I think I'll do again. But I think I'd like to at some point just buckle down and do that, because there's quite a bit to that. So that's that. This one just comes out either for a challenge, if there's one that it fits, or just because I feel like it and I want a little bit of monochromatic stitching. With the DMC Floche on the 18 count, it comes 1-stranded, and I'm able to use the 1 strand on the 18 count just fine. All right, so next, I pulled out a second full coverage piece in addition to my Watching the World, which is my monthly focus. And I decided that I wanted to get something else in there. Because I'm doing my Mary Poppins monthly focus as well as the full coverage, I haven't had it. Pulling out another full coverage was a lot, but I decided these things need to get stitched, right? Just as much as everything else. And so it was time to pull another one out. Now I try to, when I pull them out, get a minimum of 1,000 stitches. This did not get that. Probably got, if I had to guess, and I'm looking at my book here, maybe almost 500 stitches. So I do have another 500 that I would like to maybe focus on this week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a busy weekend. I'll talk about that in life. So that is going to take quite a bit of stitching time away. So this may end up going all the way through the month to get to 1,000. This is called Limoncello. It is charted by Stitches So Beautiful, and the artwork is by Lucy McGee. And this one was started on paper before I had Pattern Keeper. I put it in, and so now I'm kind of going back, filling in some of my pieces, as well as you could see, I got tired of some of these colors. And I said, I'm just pulling something over here. Show me what's a section, and I can just pull something out. This is 18 count white Aida. It's 2 strands over 1, full cross. And I'm just in fill-in mode, to be honest with you. This is a pretty big piece, if you can see. This is the width. I think it's actually wider than it is taller. It's almost a square. But as you can see, there's a lot of fabric. So it's much bigger than Watching the World, which I'll show you in a bit. And I didn't feel like going over to one side, or you know how I like to do the corners and go to the corners. But this one, I felt like there was a lot missing in here. So I've just been picking a color and going in. And that's where I am. But you'll see this one again. If I don't get a lot this week, I might wait and show it to you the following if I need the 2 weeks to get the 500. We'll see what happens. All right, next. So next, this one, and where is my book to remind me to mention people? Here it is. I was watching Mandy. Mandy Parker is Mandy's Flosstube. And it's funny because she was saying she was stitching this for one of my I Spy prompts. I Spy is a challenge that I do. You can find it either in my Facebook page or in my community tab. It's a monthly. You kind of try to find things in your projects. And it can be a title of the project. It can be the designer. It doesn't have to be a specific object. But one of the things was to stitch something that somebody else is, well, it was either something you'd see in a TV show you watch, or if you consider Flosstube a TV, a project that somebody else is stitching the same exact project. So Mandy had started this one not too long ago, and she said, oh, Laura's stitching this. I'll do that for the I Spy prompt. And then I thought to myself, well, Mandy, I need to get it out now too, because yours is looking phenomenal. She's really getting a lot of progress on it quickly. This is from the Cross Stitch for the Earth book. And I started this on Earth Day this year. And this is, there's no title. What do I think? I think I do difference you make. The wording says never underestimate the difference you make. And like Tiny Modernist, Emma Congden, who is Stitchrovia, I love the colors, the bright, cheerful look of everything. And I always enjoy stitching these. So that's what I have. Mandy, oh, she's got the whole top done. She is zipping along on this. This is 18 count. Where's my notes? Fresh cut, the light version from Dying for Cross Stitch. On Dying for Cross Stitch, she has several colors that you can get: light, medium, and dark. So it's kind of cool. If you like a color, but you want a specific shading of it, it is a possibility. I had these trees to finish, so I went back up and I finished those. So except for the back stitch, which I know that's a Emma Congden thing. She likes to do that kind of back stitch close to her letters, or kind of a little distance to kind of shade the letters. I don't know, that might be the only letters in this pattern that have that. So I am not going to back stitch yet. I'm going to wait, because I think I might just keep them like that, to be honest with you, especially if everything else is like that. So I got all of that top done. Then I started to pull over here with the bird and go over in that area too. I can't remember. What was I watching when I did this? And it was one of those things where you kind of, you know how some TV shows, you don't really have to pay attention, or floss tubes, depending on, like Whip Parades, I don't get as much stitching done because I keep looking up, right? But depending on some floss tubes, you don't look up as much, and so you can get more done. But whatever I was watching, I don't remember. I had to pay attention, so I didn't get as much stitching in this as I wanted to. But that's okay. It'll be there for the next time I want to pick it up. Oh, I just really love this green. There was no green, ironically, in this piece, considering it's an earth piece. And so I thought the green fabric really looked nice against all of those bright, vibrant colors. And I think I had this piece already, so it was kind of like a no-brainer kind of thing. All right, so that one is put away. Next. Okay, this one is a new start. This is one that I started for Pumpkin Birthday Sal, so I did give myself the hashtag. There's 3 of them here. I'm only going to stitch one at the moment. I love all 3, and they'll eventually all get stitched. Slightly Spooky from Little Robin Designs, and I started the October 31 piece. And I am going to do it the 2 different colors. I know some of those other pieces, like the Spring Awakens, has the multiple colors that I made monochromatic. I am keeping that like this. I decided I wanted a purple fabric for it, and I stitched both the orange and the black to make sure both of them, well, I knew the black would look good on this, but I wanted to make sure the combo on this color would look good. This is an unnamed fabric, so I don't have, I don't have any name for you on this one. Now, I'm not going to stitch all 3 in purple. I believe my plan might be, if I flip it over, I think I'd like to stitch this one on black and this one on kind of like a lime green. So we'd have black, purple, bright green. I thought that would be kind of fun. they'd all work fine on the purple if I wanted to make them matchy-matchy, but I don't think I will. Now these are done as pillows, which are super cute. I would make these ornaments. As you can see, that's it, that size. I don't know how wide it goes, but it'll be fine. It's 18 count. So that's where that is. And hopefully I'll get some more. I don't think I'll get it done by the end of this month, this October, just because I have lots to stitch here. So, you know, it'll get done when it gets done. Not worried. All right. I also did a couple of pieces of full finishing. So I'm going to take a little break from my whips to jump in my works in progress with some full finishes. In Whip Warriors, there is an event this month called, and make sure I get it right, Knocktober, which basically is an event to try to see what you can get either stitched finished or fully finished. And I got 2 full finishes this week, and so I'm super excited about that, and I thought I'd show you. They're small, they're little ornaments. This first one here, this was the turkey. I recently, actually, I might have finished that this month as well. I don't remember. But that's my turkey. That was part of a piece from Crochet Go-Go. I had found it in the Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. Not sure if it's available from their site now. And I found this purple fabric that I thought really went nicely. It went with all the colors and it went with that. So I didn't necessarily want to do brown or anything brighter. So I thought that was kind of nice. And then I have them here. You know that if I don't use ribbon, I like to use twine of some sort. And I like sometimes to mix and match. So that's actually 2 colors of, this is burlap twine. So you can see it's very fuzzy sort of twine. And so I had these 2 colors. I thought both those colors go really nice with the turkey. So why not, see if that stays, why not do both of them? I'm deciding. It's naturally, because I wrapped the 2 around each other, it's kind of naturally making a little hanger like that. So I may hang it on my thing just like this, and it would hang against the wall. But technically it goes like that. So that's the first full finish. And then my second full finish was my recent finish of the Nevermore Raven from the Just Cross Stitch 2024 Halloween issue. It has the original pattern has Nevermore underneath it, but I wanted to make it a little bit smaller and have it as an ornament. And again, I just found this kind of gray and black dotted back fabric and some ribbon, and boom, there we go. So I have my 2 full finishes, and next week you're going to see I'm going to have a piece finished. So I have 2 full finishes and a stitched finish so far for the Knocktober event in Whip Warriors. Now, I just have to remember to take pictures and upload everything, and we'll be good. All right, you know what? I'm just going to put these over here. And while I'm doing that, I'll show you these pieces. This is a previous finish. This is the October Cottage from Cottage Garden Samplings. I've had September up on my shelf for the last 2 weeks. And then I just looked up and I said, oh, it's October. This is why putting out monthly things, I'm kind of useless with it, to be honest with you. And then this is the scrapbook page, if you've never seen my scrapbook pages before. And this is a Satsuma Street, something cat, Halloween cat. So I stitched it, and then I actually used some really fun mica spray on the cardstock. And it's in its, you know, I don't take out my scrapbook pieces out of the page protectors because I don't want them to get dinged or ruined. Now, if I wanted to, I could also take this and put it in a frame if I wanted. This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. So that's always the thing. If you scrapbook something and you say, oh, I want to frame it, that is an option. So that's that. So that will sit here for the rest of the video. And next week, I'm super excited. I know what I'm going to show you next week. All right, back to works in progress. Next one is my full coverage focus that I have been working on. And that is, where is it? Now, this is a retired stitch from Heaven and Earth Designs. So it was charted by Heaven and Earth. It is artwork by Lucy Pittaway. I would look in Bothy Threads for kits now if you were looking for any Lucy Pittaway. And this is called Minnie Watching the World Go By. And I am so enjoying it. and I'm loving the size of it. Now, I don't have all the way down to the bottom. That is, I'm almost getting ready to do the very bottom, like, tree right here. But you can see, I mean, look at the fabric. That's smaller than some giant samplers. So it's clearly not going to be a humongous piece. I didn't do any sky this week. I really wanted color. So first off, I went and I filled in a bunch here and started to come down this way. I know I have this. If you've not heard me describe it before, my my way of doing full coverage, what did I say? It's some chaotic something or something chaos. There is a method to it when I'm doing it at the time, but it just looks chaotic in the fact that I just go everywhere and anywhere when I stitch. I did come back up and do some more of this the last day or two. I still have done 100 a day, so I am on track to get a good amount done this month. I think I've done a little bit more than 100 most days, so you actually will see probably more than 3,000 stitches from start to finish, which is exciting. And because it's smaller, I think I've gotten a good 5% because, I mean, there's less stitches. This one might only be like a total of 60,000 versus, you know, a 200,000 stitch piece. But I just love the colors. There's so much fun bringing that in. And just looking at it now, this whole section looks so good because it's filled in. I mean, there's quite a bit. There's little pieces to do yet, but it's just looking better and better. So we are at what? We're October 18th. So I still have another 13 days, hopefully, to get done on that. Sometimes on Thursday nights, it doesn't get work done because I've started to prep for the videos on Friday. But in that case, I usually try to make up and make sure I still had the average of 100 a day. So like today, you know, I may not do 200, but I'll do over 100. And then over the course of the weekend, enough that it kind of evens out in the end. Okay, this was the piece I worked on for Monochromatic Monday. And can I find it? There we go. This one has a stitch along. I know you're surprised. Hashtag Lena Ova Sal. So this is called Mary Poppins, and Lena Ova is the designer. They're on Etsy. And I am not stitching this beautiful, gorgeous external border of just floral elements. Let me show you up close. See how pretty that is? I'm not doing that though. That was very dense, and I just loved the look of the center pieces. And so I said, that's what I'm going to do instead. One of these days I'll remember to try to crop that so that I have to show you just what I'm stitching. I don't know how much that is that I've taken off when I take out that border, because I forgot, I didn't do all of that first in Pattern Keeper before I started stitching. So now I don't know. But, oh, I just love this color fabric. Every time I show this to you, I just think it's so pretty. This was a fabric of the month, 1 month, might have been June this year for Under the Sea Fabrics. It's 18 count Uranus. So when Under the Sea does their fabric of the months for the year, they're not available that year. They usually will put several on, or they'll put whatever colors on sale at the end of the year for anybody to order. And then the most popular ones get put in the line. I believe that's how I understand it to be from year to year. This color is gorgeous. If you get a chance, I highly recommend you order some. And Under the Sea Fabrics, Aida is a joy to stitch on. I stitch in hand, and it is lovely to stitch. But you can see I decided, I continued on Mary. So Mary is almost done. Let me look at the picture for a second here to see. Her bag is done. And so at this point now I'm finishing out her dress. I worked on that. I worked on some over here. I decided to come over to this block. I really wanted to do, look at that moon. Isn't that fun? It's like a checkerboard moon. It was just calling to me. So I said, oh, I'm going to do that. I think I'd like to maybe do the top border next one of these days all the way across so I can see how wide, and look at how much glorious fabric I'll have left of this. Oh, it's so nice. And I am just using, what am I using for? I'm using DMC, and I'm using DMC 939. So the deep, deep blue, navy blue, almost looks black, but not quite. And I just thought that looked so nice against this fabric. And I kind of wanted this kind of smoky, foggy blue look for this piece. So that's why I chose it. So there it is. So I have been stitching on this one 100 stitches a day. And this one is closer to 100 a day. I generally have been trying to start my day off with it and get it kind of stitched and then move on to what I want to stitch next. And the full coverage I stitch at the end of the day because I can see on the tablet much easier than I can paper patterns once it gets dark. Now, that's going to be a problem now that we're heading into winter because it'll be dark at, by the time the dead of winter comes, it'll be 4 o'clock and it'll be dark. But, I'll figure it out. All right, this next one. And what's the hashtag? Oh, I didn't put it in my thing here. I had started this and did a little bit, but then I said, I'm going to stitch this for the hashtag. I'm throwing that out and I don't know if it's right or not. Hashtag Stitch the Chicago Marathon. I don't know if there was the word Sal at the end. Andrew, the runner stitcher, let me write down, was running the Chicago Marathon. Congrats, Andrew. What an accomplishment. It is just, just something to be so, so proud of. Running a marathon. In my life, I have run a 5K. That's the extent. I was never a fan of running, even when I was a fan of working out. But Andrew said on Sunday, the day of the marathon, let's throw out a little challenge. 26.2 miles is a marathon. Times that by 10. Try to get 262 stitches in. And I actually did it during the marathon time. Andrew told us when he would be starting. And I started it, I think probably an hour after that. And I got my 262 stitches in. And now I am not stitching the bottom part, the top part. I'm stitching basically this element. And where am I? I started from the bottom, which is something I never do. But I actually really, really like it. It was so cute and petite when it was just this. And so I think for the marathon stitching, it was mostly the pumpkin. I think I might have had the greenery completed before that, but I can't remember 100%. Now, it was so funny, and I told this to Andrew. I had stitched most of the colors, and then there's a deeper fill-in color here. And I was at 245 stitches, and I said, oh, Mo and I were sitting outside on the front porch. He was reading, I think, and I was stitching. And I said, I haven't finished my marathon yet. I have, 17 stitches to do. And I said to Andrew, I had sent him a message saying, my last bit of stretch for the marathon was a heck of a lot easier than your last bit. That's like the last mile to go or something. I imagine he had a harder time of it than me, but that's where I got. This is 18 count sand dollar from Bestitchme. And I persevered and I got my 262 stitches. So there it is. This is really lovely, this stitch. I like the colors of this piece. Hashtag pumpkin birthday Sal again too. Just started it, this month? And I think I'll pull it out before the end of October, at least one more time. And I could easily see a lot of these pieces that are pumpkins are fallish, right? And I mean, we're still in fall through November, even most of December, frankly. So you could see these. That one, because I'm cutting out a bunch, I mean, in theory, I could get it done this year. I mean, in theory, I could get a lot of things done this year. But that one is not humongous. So we'll see. Who knows? All right, this is an old one. So this one, I had to go to the top of my area to show you. This I think it was a pumpkin birthday start, some October 21, maybe. But this is Samhain in Salem, and it is from Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. And as you can see, this is, well, you can't see because there is a set of 4, and they're seasonal, and they are in different places. I did was summer in Nantucket? I think it was. Christmas in Christmas in Nantucket. It was Christmas. I did that one, And so I'm working backwards, apparently. Now we're going to Halloween time. But I so enjoy these, but these houses are solid. When she stitched these for her model stitch, man, I'm just amazed because this is a lot of work. This is it completely. I had stitched this house, I think I had finished stitching it last year. And there's the one more house. As you can see, I didn't cut myself fabric very well, to be honest with you. So the houses are closer than they are in the original chart. And so the third house will be closer yet again. Luckily, this is a kind of a selvage sort of edge, so I don't have to worry about fraying. If I'd known that, I would have started this one a lot closer to the edge. They'll be scrapbooked, so it's not an issue. I'm not going to put the words, but I think I'm going to put the fence down this way. So I'm going to do this to show you what I stitched on. And I did this during a Zoom, and I got the entire house done. It is charted in a variegated, but Julie also gives a blended of 2 DMCs, is which what I did. So now I still have all of the windows, but they're all one color. So that'll be another kind of Zoom fill-in stitch. I think that would be easy. We have white and orange pumpkins down here to work on, and then the door. And then this piece will be done. My goal was to get this house done by the end of this year. So I still have 2 months. I really do need to make sure this continues to come out this month and probably November again. We'll see come December how much I feel like stitching on it. But if I could get this house finished this year, then next year we start on the third house, and we're getting there. Originally, I was convinced I was going to stitch all 4 of these. We'll see. I love them, but these houses they're massive in stitching terms, right? So there's a lot to them, but they are a lot of fun. If you're thinking about them, I would recommend them. They are a lot of fun to stitch. All right, so what did I stitch for my 4-piece rotation this week? It was Spring Quaker. So the goal was to get 500 stitches on this, and I did. This is from Leela's Studio, and I have spring and summer going. I am loving watching people stitch the autumn piece, but I'm not going to start it until one of these is finished. And I don't know which one will be finished first. I suspect maybe summer, but I don't know for a fact. So that is where it is in total. I did completely change this one. If you are new, this doesn't look like the original stitched piece. I did this is a pinker than what's originally there. It's 18 count, where am I? Rose Hips from Under the Sea Fabrics. This was a fabric of the month last year. I don't know if it made it to her regular line. It is a very lovely pink. I kind of hope it did, because I think I'd like some more. And I'm just going to fold this way because this is where I worked on. And I finally finished this. I can't tell you that it gave me fits because I just wasn't counting right. I picked it up and I only had this section really left to do. And I started stitching from where I had stitched, and I knew it wasn't going to line up. And I couldn't figure out why. So I abandoned that and went this way and started. And then I had realized my mistake. So I did have to pull out stitches. So that some of that got stitched twice. So that got finished. Then we did over here. Now the bee is not completely finished. I only did the black outline of the bee because I had the black out for here. Actually, oh, this is not completely finished either, the beehive. So that's got a little bit more to do. Then a couple of the letters and the flower. These pieces are beautiful, the big elements. And I have, what do I have here? I have a giant one left to do. Where am I? No. Yeah, I have another big, like half, 2/3 of one at the bottom here. They're so beautiful, but they are stitches and stitches and stitches. This piece right here, when I come down to it to do, I bet you 500 stitches won't even fill it completely up, but it is the way it is. I think if you look in the description box, I do tell you what colors I'm using. I can't remember if I do a like for like, because some of them are like for like. There will be a few cases where I might use the original browns, like for example, in here with the basket, I most likely will use the original browns. I won't have changed them to the greens. But I just thought spring and rebirth and new leaves and grass and trees and all of that needed green. And so I went with green. I know there's a bunch of different color schemes and ideas that people are doing that are beautiful, as well as the original. The original is a beautiful, beautiful piece. But I'm really pleased. It took a little while and a lot of trial and error to figure out what colors I wanted, but I'm very, very happy with my choices. Especially because the autumn one is brown, so this way they'll kind of have different color looks. And then I have one more piece, and I am doing fantastic. Usually by now I'd have been at a full hour, and we are not. Okay, so one more pumpkin birthday piece. This is the entire piece you get. These are the piece I'm stitching, I'm calling it November Gnome. So these are kind of like the autumn gnomes from Wonderstitch UA, I believe is where you can get them now. And I am stitching this guy. And I've said this before, the amount of color that Wonderstitch uses, because this is all DMC, and they just make the pieces come alive. They really are enjoyable to stitch. Now they're big, and I can't say I'm a particular gnome person, to be honest with you, but they are just so lovely to stitch. So you can see, that's a good size. This is 18 count buttercream from To Dye For Fabrics. And I've got him completely here. You'll notice I picked a color that is the same as that background square, so I won't stitch that. I won't stitch the grounding circle down here. I'll just keep them kind of floating in space kind of thing. And you're not going to be able to see very well because some of the colors are lighter, but I did start to tackle some of the various shades of white, ecru, tan that are all in here. So, which that's quite a bit of this. So, you know, there's some work to do. I made it easy for myself and I did all the kind of the bright colors of the browns and the oranges. And we'll have this side and we'll have a nice fun pumpkin here. And I can't wait. I mean, if you look at those leaves, see how they pop color-wise? I think the pumpkin's going to do that as well. It's going to look fantastic. So, yeah, I originally was hoping to get this whole side done by the end of this year. But I've also done some on this side, so I kind of defeated my own purposes. I can guarantee, because of all of the different shades here on this, that goal, the original goal, won't be completely finished. But that is the full length of it, as you can see. So there we go. And once these gnomes are done, they'll just be part of a scrapbook collection of the various different seasonal gnomes. The only one I've finished is the sunflower gnome so far. And then I have, right now on the go, I have a winter one and I have a St. Patrick's one. I think I might have bought the Christmas ones. I'm not sure, but I don't have any of those going. So that is what I currently worked on this week. So excited. Hope you enjoyed that part. But there's lots of plans and things coming up that are so much fun. And the very first thing I wanted to mention is next week is my birthday, next Wednesday. And so I am going to do a birthday Zoom. Now, I apologize in advance. I would love to just have it where it's all the different time zones and places and things. So friends in any type of time zone who work or don't work or whatever could come. But, you know, that's not feasible. And I think that night we are going to a kind of like a happy hour get together at somebody's house or whatever. So I thought, well, Mo was working on that afternoon, I would do a Zoom. So I am going to have a Zoom from 2 to 4:30 on Wednesday, October 23rd. If you're in the Facebook page, I will put the information of what the number is and the password. And if you're not on Facebook, no worries. Just reach out to me on my Gmail address, which you can see down below, and I can send you that information. Hopefully some of you can come. If nobody can come, that's all right. I'll just stitch that afternoon myself. But I just thought it would be kind of fun. I do have a planned start, and let me see. Have I taken a picture of it yet? if I go to my pictures, I bought it. Yes, I did. Witch's Hollow from Autumn Lane Stitchery. That's going to be my birthday start. I'm so excited. Do they actually have any pumpkins on it? You know what? It's a pumpkin colored fabric because ironically there's not a single, as far as I can tell, stitched pumpkin. But believe me, the fabric is pumpkin colored because all of that orange you see is the fabric. But look at that up there, full coverage. I'll start with that up there. So yeah, this went in Pattern Keeper, so I will start this on my birthday Zoom. So whatever you happen to be stitching, or if you just want to come and say hi, just check out for that information. I am super excited and can't wait to hang out for a little while and stitch. Okay, so that's one of the plans. This birthday Zoom with the birthday start. Now this weekend is 24 hours of cross stitch, but I cannot do that this weekend. I'm going to plan it for next weekend. So I'll talk about that for plans next weekend. But if you're doing it, have fun. I hope you get lots of stitching in. And I'm sure there's Zooms and I'm sure there's activities and all that kind of fun stuff. So I hope you have fun with that. So I have some plans. Let me show you first because I have my New Year, New Start, which I'm incredibly excited about. But let me show you these first. I still have 3 pieces that I have not, that I thought I'd stitch this month that I have not, besides the Witch's Hollow. I don't know if I'm going to get to all 3 of these. Plus I had a plan of another one. So you can see I've had lots of starts. How many have I had this October? If I look in my book, 1, 2, oh, I've only had 5 new starts so far this month. So not too bad. And I have had 3 stitched finishes, so that's not too bad. This one here, Autumn Dream by Cottage Garden. I actually almost started this instead of October 31st, but the colors of the pumpkin, the DMC colors, I wasn't loving. I've got to, no, it wasn't this one. No, this one, I'm looking at them. I like these. I probably have 1,000,001 different kind of pumpkin color variegated, so I could throw a variegated in there too. This was not the one I almost started. I think I want to do a peachy fabric, so I haven't decided 100% on that. So there's this one. This is the one I almost started, and it's also Cottage Garden. That's what got me confused. And it is the Witch from the Snowman Collector series. But this one, the pumpkin colors, and actually 2 of the 3 are DMC charted. Let me put these against. Those are the pumpkin colors. Brown, kind of yellowish and bright, and then light yellow. I mean, that's it. And I wasn't, Did you stitch this? Did you use these colors? What did you think? One of the colors, instead of, actually, no. I can't. There's another color that would have been the variegated. That's 3853. I didn't have that. But again, it's more yellowy. Did you use the charted? Am I overthinking it? Does it look good once you stitch it? I was thinking of picking a purple. Oh, my October 31 is down here. Let's see. Nope, that's a brighter purple I would do anyway. But I thought a purple would be really fun. All these colors would look good against that. But I wasn't really loving what was called for. So that's why I ended up starting October 31 instead. And just pulled out, I did go purple, but I did a different type of purple for that. And then the third piece is Pumpkin House by Liz Matthews. And I'm only stitching the top part. And I will talk about that next week because I had an idea of what fabric I wanted to use. I think that would be fun. So we'll see. So these 3 are still potentially in play. But I got to tell you, I'm not sure because I've started other stuff and I still have to fully finish my trading cards. Then those will have to start getting, once the deadline comes in for them all coming in, I have to start thinking about getting those out. So there's a lot to do. So we'll see what happens. If not, maybe they'll just go for next year's pumpkin birthday stitch along. And then my big excitement. This past week, Owl Forest Embroidery put out a piece, a chart, And I immediately said, this is my new year, new start. Last year I started fish and chips. It won't get finished within the year, but I am at approximately 63%. So I'm doing pretty good. The year before that, I had started Black Vintage Sampler by Owl Forest, and that took me a good 1.5 years to stitch. This, I think I'm going to, now I did that by paper. I'm going to see if this will go into Pattern Keeper. I don't know if it will. If it does, that's what I'm going to do. And it is, what is it called? Oh gosh, I don't remember what it's called. Is it like Rose Saga? Something like that. Look at this piece. It's humongous. It's 400 and something there. And then I think 200 and something here. I can't remember. But it's long. I think on 18 count, that makes it 24 inches tall. So it's a tall piece. But it's gorgeous. And I have a plan. And I went through my fabrics, and I think I have it all set out. I'm so excited. When I saw this, I said, oh, this feels purpley, but not purple, plum, and like a smoky plum sort of color. And so I went through all my fabrics, and I got to tell you, Under the Sea Fabrics, she is coming through with her fabric of the months. This is the only smoky plum I have that was exactly what I was looking for. Look at this. It's deeper, a little bit deeper plum in person. I don't remember what month this was. It's called Pomona. And 1 month this year, it was a fabric of the month. So then I was like, okay, well, I know the width is fine, but is the length. The beautiful thing about her fabric of the months are they're big, right? They're really long, which helps for bigger pieces. And I measured it. Now I won't have a ton of a margin. I might have about 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches, maybe. I may count this whole darn thing and make sure I have enough. But this side is a serged and this is a selvage side. So I don't have to worry about any fraying. I'm going to keep it as is. And so don't have to worry about that. Now, this is the color, I think, as the base. Then what I want to do is, most of it, I'm just going to do in black. And I'll use my Anchor Black. And I did do that for Black Vintage Sampler. It was the hand-dyed fabric plus black. But I thought with this one, so if you look, there's a lot of flowers, all those roses. And so I'm thinking this one, but I have 2 different colors that are almost the same. One is from Stitchy Stuff and one is from Roxy Floss Co. And depending on how the light hits it, I go back and forth which one I want to use. I thought that's kind of this reddish purple, purplish red to do all the flowers in that. Oh, and this is showing up so much brighter in person than it is. Like, this is such a deep, rich plum color. And this purpley red for the flowers. Can you tell I'm excited? I cannot wait. Okay, I don't want winter, but January 1st, I'm going to be so excited. I'm going to be just jumping for joy when that day comes so I can start this piece. And so I have some time to figure out which of these I want. And in theory, there's big roses and small roses. So if I had to mix and match, I don't think it would be that big a deal because they are pretty close in color. This one is called Garnet and this one is called Holly Jolly. So both fabulous options. But I am so happy I had this because I went on this search for smoky plum fabric. Now there is one from Fiber on a Whim. Fiber on a Whim is a little bit looser than This Is Under the Sea, and her aidas are phenomenal, at least her 18 count for in-hand stitching. And I'm going to be doing this for a long time. So I really wanted something that wasn't softer because there's a lot to it. So the Fiber on a Whim, I was kind of like in a pinch, but if I could find something else. Besides this, there is nothing that would be big enough of a hand dyer. I saw a couple that might have been options, but those hand dyers don't dye pieces that big. Maybe if I had asked, but I don't know. But this is, now I will, again, like I said, count it and just hope beyond hope that it is most definitely the right size. And I just can't wait. So if you'd like to join on the New Year, New Start Rose Saga of the Roses, I don't remember what it's called, but it is the newest one of the newest Owl Forest. They put out a really cool pumpkin one recently too, so there might be some more Owl Forest, but I am just so excited with it. Oh, I can't wait. But that was I never wanted to buy something so fast as that. So that was one of my purchases. So let's just go into shopping. So I had digital chart, and that's the only one from Owl Forest I bought. But then I did buy a few from Lena Ova because I love her charts. She came out with Beauty and the Beast. Isn't that lovely? Oh, and that is a rose border as well, but it's smaller than the one that you see on Mary Poppins, the Flora one. I do think I'd stitch this whole piece. So there is Beauty and the Beast. Now this one here is from Sense and Sensibility, and it's beautiful, but I'm only going to do that inner block with, let's see, through that border right there. So those sections. So that one would not be as big a piece because that's good and small. So I have that one. And then of course, the Cinderella. And I have to tell you, I think I would do the outer border on this one. So I think this would be a full piece. So the next start probably will be Cinderella. I'm not 100% sure. I'm enjoying Mary Poppins. I do have Anne of Green Gables as well, which is really nice. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have a bunch of these going. And I enjoy these as the monochromatic, as charted. And I'm having fun trying to figure out the fabric and floss kind of to go with them. So I bought that. Those are and they were on sale. I don't know how long Lena Ova has her sale going for, but it was something like a 30% sale. So the price of the patterns was definitely affordable. And so I got those. And then, so those missing stitches, you know how much I love Lynn's fabrics. And I have no idea if this is her plan for next year, but this year what she's done is every quarter, she comes up with maybe three or four, I don't know if it's Homer Simpson or something, but whenever I say something like 2 or 3 or 3 or 4, Mo does the Homer Simpson voice 3 or 4, because that must be in an episode somewhere. So I kind of cracked myself up while I'm doing this video. I think it's 4 new colors that she does. And then she also brings out some other pieces for the quarter, and puts others away kind of like in a vault. And Darling David lasted the entire year. Lynn, if it's not going to be available all year next year, please let me know, because I need some more of Darling David. If that's the case, I've got to stock up on it before she puts it in the vault. But it's so funny. It's kind of like, okay, the start of a new month's quarter, so October 1st would have been this quarter. I am within that day checking those missing stitches on Etsy, because I'm dying to know what Lynn has and what she's bringing back. So I was good. I only bought 2 of the 4 new colors, but they're gorgeous. This first one is called Gifted Grace. And if you watch those missing stitches, her Flosstube, she shows all of them. Isn't this gorgeous? The modeling is there, but not that stark. And it's funny because I wasn't sure, on the on the screens, they kind of look different. But this one is a green. It has green in it. And I had a plan to do, I want to do the 12 days, the Liz Matthews 12 days, not the tree, but the sampler part, those patterns. I don't think she has all 12 out yet. And I think some of them, I want to do them either on the same green, but I need all of them to do that. Or I want to rotate some greens. And I bet you some of them would look so good on this fabric. So I've got to pull those patterns out, pull out some flosses and see. And if I'm planning on doing some, I think I have to buy some more before the year is up. Because this is gorgeous. I can't even tell you how pretty it is. And then I ordered Genial Ginny. And I had ordered this as a potential for Witch's Hollow. The other option I have for Witch's Hollow, now this one was available last quarter, but it's not available anymore. Genuine Jillian. So depending on which kind of scheme I had, that was my plan. And then Lynn threw a little bit of a wrench in the whole plan because she wanted to illustrate the difference between 18 and 20 count aidas, that sometimes they die very differently. So she sent me a piece, thank you, Lynn, this was very lovely of you, of 20 count Genial Ginny, so that I could see the difference between the two counts and then make my decision on which is hollow with that. So look. This is 18. This is 20. So really, the count's not much difference, but look at the difference. It's so funny how the dye takes the fabrics. So I was all set to do it on 18, but this 20 is glorious. So I may do it on the 20 count now, actually. Now, on 20 count, I do have to do 1, right? 1 over 1. I don't think I could do 2 over 1, which I'm not as huge a fan of. I've got to be honest with you. But this is so pretty that I might just do it. If I want, this is a deep kind of a pumpkin color. This is a brighter color. So I have to make a decision on that. But just really kind of, it's so amazing to me, and which is why, so when I say my fabrics are XYZ, I always try to remind you that they are 18 count. Because if you think about it, 18, 20, same exact color. Never mind if it's linen or even weave or anything else. So that was what I bought. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This morning, well, yesterday, but I didn't really see it until this morning, Bestitchme put up ready to ship fabrics through the weekend, or if they run out. I mean, her ready to ship generally sell out. All the blues is what she called it. Now, I don't think it's every blue fabric she has, but I mean, seriously, how could I not look at blue ready to ship fabrics? Because you know, blue is my favorite fabric to stitch on. So I may or may not have bought a couple of blue fabrics that are ready to ship. So I don't know when they'll come. I don't think she ships them with the fabric of the month, which is, that's shipping next week. So I don't know. I mean, that, to try to figure out all of that, I mean, she probably has one system for fabric of the months and then system for ready to ship. So I'm sure it's going to be shipped differently. I don't know which one I'll get first, but there are some blue Bestitchme fabrics coming because I just couldn't help myself. All right, so that is shopping. Last week's giveaway was for a Lindy Stitches gift card, and I think it was for $15, if I remember correctly. I kind of go by, I look at what they offer generally, and then I kind of go from there. It was either 10 or 15. You know, whatever it was. I'll look, and it's in my last week's notes, but I don't have last week's notes here with me. I only have this, and I didn't write it here. So the winner of the Lindy Stitches gift card is, excuse me, Serrana Stitches 2308. So congratulations. If you could get back to me with your address, I will send you that gift card. And so I have been picking different companies or designers that will be at the Jingle Ball. Today is October 18th, and tonight, if you're watching it today, at 7 o'clock Eastern time, the Jingle Ball tickets go on sale. I plan on buying a ticket. I don't think I'm going to necessarily do any class kits. I think there is a way you can order the PDFs of the class projects, but those don't sell out. So I think I'm just going to, buy my ticket to begin with. And then as long as you do the same email address, you can add on to stuff. Watch the Lindy Stitches videos. They're quite helpful, especially the one of everything that you need to know about signing up if you were confused in previous signups. I've been looking at designers. Obviously, that'll be at the Jingle Ball. So we did Satsuma Street, and we've got a gift certificate from Lindy Stitches. So this week we're going to do a tiny Modernist gift certificate for $10. And so I was trying to figure out the word. And I remember I was on the Tiny Modernist site looking to make sure she did gift cards. And she's showing her current stitch along of her holiday Christmas clock. And I remember seeing on Instagram somebody finished the stitch along for the Halloween clock. And I wasn't sure I was going to like them when I saw the pieces for Halloween, but I loved the finished piece. So that may be a stitch somewhere along the line next year. And I'm curious to see. So far, the Christmas one looks beautiful. But it's a clock series. So I said, Tiny Modernist, if you'd like me to put your name in for the drawing for the Tiny Modernist $10 gift card, say the word clock in your comments. And I will do the comment picker, the YouTube comment picker, and I will pick a winner next week or next video. Generally, they are once a week, but I want to just make sure. Please don't say giveaway or free. These are digital, so you do not have to be 18 because you're not giving me your address or 18 or over. I always kind of laugh at that because, you know, you have to be at least, if I don't say you have to be 18, well, at least 18, right? Usually. And I would love it if you're a subscriber because that's just so nice of you. But I will not check. I'm not monitoring you, looking over your shoulder to see if you're subscribing. It's all on your word. So thank you. That is all the stitching part. All of the stitching. So let's just do a quick wrap up for the last little bit for life stuff. Megan is coming this weekend. Megan and Liz are coming down tonight, some point after work. So that's why I'm not doing 24 hours of cross stitch. There is a plethora of activities in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, which is where I live, this weekend. So they're coming down for a lot of fun stuff. Plus, you know, a visit for my birthday. Instead of next weekend, they couldn't. So this worked out perfectly since there is so much going on. And yeah, so they're going to be here and we're just going to be doing some fun stuff downtown. And the weather it's been chilly. You can tell I'm wearing a sweater. I think this morning it was 46 degrees and I think it might get up to like low 60s. So it's been a little bit cooler than normal, than what we're supposed to have. I think it's supposed to be normally high 60s and it hasn't been hitting that. But starting tomorrow into Sunday through Wednesday, the weather is supposed to kind of pop up and be a little bit unseasonably warm in the 70s. And so it's going to be sunny from now basically until Wednesday. So all of the activities this weekend should be nice and sunny and okay. We wear a nice sweater, but that's all we need to wear because they're all outdoor stuff. And I'm just so looking forward to it. So that's kind of like what my weekend plans are. I did end up, thank you so much to everybody who told me that Thursday Murder Club, they really enjoyed it. So I haven't started it yet. This is something I'm hoping to start this week, but we'll see. Richard Osman is the author. I believe there's 3 books in this series, and there is it Netflix? Somebody is doing an adaptation of this. I don't know if it's a film or a TV series, but the cast, phenomenal, well-known people. So I really wanted to read before I watched, and the fact that many of you gave it a thumbs up as a review meant that I was going to do that. So I picked that up. So I will be starting to read that hopefully this week. So if you want to read along with me, then we can chat about it. And then what am I watching? It's network premiere kind of week and a half, right? So I got to the NCIS Origins. So all of my floss tubes are going to take a hit because I love, when I'm stitching, I always have something on in the background. TV shows, Flosstube, generally not audiobooks, except for something like Fourth Wing, which I've read multiple times, because otherwise I kind of start concentrating on my stitching and I lose the plot of the book. But usually it's either Flosstube or TV or something. Excuse me, something in my mouth. But now it's premiere week, so Flosstubes, which I'm already way behind on, are going to take a hit. If you've watched NCIS, the original one, for any length of time, you will get a lot of the references. You'll understand some of the backstory. So it's really kind of cool. I enjoyed it was a 2-part, so it was like a 2-hour kind of premiere, 2 episodes, and I enjoyed it. So I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't watched regular NCIS yet, but there's a whole bunch of shows that start, and I'm so excited to get going with those. I watched the first Matlock. Has anybody watched that with Kathy Bates? I didn't see what was coming at the end of that episode. I'm not going to tell you because whew, that was that's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see how they play that. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching right now. There's a couple other things on the streaming sites that I'll talk about later, but right now I am all about checking out the premieres and checking out the shows that I watched through the regular networks. So, so yeah, so that's about it. I hope all is well with you. I hope you're well. I hope you are safe. As always, remember you are important, and what you like to do and what makes you feel good and what is important to you is important. Whatever else is going on in your life, you yourself, just, you matter. You matter. And so I want you to remember that and go forward from there. So I hope you've gotten lots of stitching done. If you were stitching with me, I'd love to know what you stitched on. And until next time, happy stitching.